Well, guys, here she is, the Grissom. I'm going to sound like a broken record to some of you guys that have heard this before from showcasing other ships, but it'll be new to somebody else, guys that are new to the modeling, what have you. Anyway, I did not do any light blocking on this ship. There's no painting. That's why you'll see halos of red and green and white, things like that. We just don't have the time to go through all this, but she came out nice. What we did is we stayed canon to some of the original clips that we could see. All the blinking lights are what we would call strobes. There's one on the top of the saucer. There's one on the front here, and should be can you see that? There's one underneath the saucer, and of course, there's one right there underneath the belly of the hull. These were white when we saw them, so we made them look white. Same thing with the back here. I know it's very exposed because it's not light blocked at all, but this is white, and there's a strobe right there. And the back, they're all static on. Of course, we got the back of the nacelles are strobes, and the front a static on. Now we do have a red one here and a green one there that's static on, and they're underneath the saucer because there were holes for it. So even though we didn't see it on the flybys of the Grissom, because they put holes in them, I decided to make them, static as well. So there she is. What we did is we of course we could not use the pole or the stand that it came because it was solid. So we happen to have a stainless steel tube, 1/4 inch in diameter, and then we drilled a hole through the base. It's working on 12 volts right now, but our board will work down to 9 volts. Now, what will happen is when you set it to 9, is that the LED strips, well, let's bring it back to 9. All right, there, it's close enough. What will happen is the LED strips are designed to run off 12 volts, so they're going to be more subdued, okay? The LEDs themselves are not going to change the intensity much. It'll change a little bit, but not as much as the static on of the LED strips. See, all the other lights are not as bad. There are series resistors with this because this is a transistor-based unit, a control board. But anyway, she came out quite nice. Okay, this is piece 15, and let me see if I can. This little plastic piece that you put in, there's a little slot. The SMD fits right in there. And over here at the tail end, I didn't put it in because it was so, I thought it wouldn't fit, but you guys might try. But anyway, there's the SMD in there. These are the strobes, which will blink. So what you want to do, let's see if you can get into focus. This LED, you bend the LED by holding it with tweezers in the front, so you don't stress the legs out of the plastic. You just bend it, and then we're gonna actually glue it with super glue and kicker, and then I'll probably put some hot glue around it to hold it in place even better, but might not be necessary. All right, so I've done some more work to this piece here as before. I put the SMD in that part of the ship and the SMD in this part of the ship, and I've used hot glue to hold the wires down. Now what I did is I brought, let's get back here, sorry. I brought the positives of each LED together to this junction, which is the positive. You can use either 9 or 12 volts DC anyway, no problem. So, and then I put the minuses together, and I went to one resistor. Because these LEDs, they're both white because they're the strobes, they can use the same current limiting resistor because they both have the same forward voltage. And then the other side of the resistor goes to this white wire, which is really the trip wire, the trigger wire, because remember, these outputs are transistor based, the strobe and the nav. The nav is really not a nav, it's just a fully static on function for this ship, but the strobe is strobing correctly for the GRISSOM. But anyway, we are supplying the loop voltage. Then you get the current limiting resistor on the negative side of the SMDs, okay? And then the other side of the resistor goes to the trip wire that connects to the board. It's got that 4-pin connector. It goes to this, this wire would connect to the strobe output wire or the trip wire. And that's it, very simple. And we'll probably might put another wire here to have the trip wire go to the other parts of the ship. We'll see. But anyway, that's what I wanted to show you. All right, so this is what it's going to look like. We connected the, let's go this way. Let's use an X-Acto knife. Okay, the positive side of the LED goes to the red wire, which is going to come down and into the ship to pick up the +12. You notice also the SMD, the positive, is connected here as well. And then I kept the same color code, white for the strobe and yellow for the static on, and the yellow goes to the minus side, which is the trip. Okay, so that's pretty much it, how you do this. All right, guys, so this is the GRISSOM, as you know, and what I did is I tried to stay as true to the actual GRISSOM lighting on the ship that we could see, and I have to thank Jerry at HDMA Model Works for helping me out with doing some homework and research on this ship. So basically, the ship just has strobes and static lights. So and I also looked at some that I could find as well. So that's what we went with. We just went with a strobe circuit, and everything else is static. So just to show you what we did is I used a little strip of SMDs to light up this side and this side because the one I saw was indeed white. And I put a little SMD right here so it illuminates the sides. My poker right there. And I did see it. Now, we don't have time to spray paint this whole ship, light block it and everything. It's tough running a couple of companies and finding time to also do a lighting ship the way you guys would do it. But you understand. The main thing you need to know is how to wire it. And it's pretty simple. We used yellow wire for all the static lighting and white wire for the strobes. And on this side of the ship, we are using one resistor to limit the current to the strobe here and the strobe there, and they're plenty bright. And we're using the red wire for the positive. That's the loop voltage or the direct voltage, 12 volts or 9 volts, whatever you use. And that goes throughout the ship, so it makes your wiring very easy. We're putting the resistor on the minus side of each of the LEDs, whether they are actual LEDs or SMDs. We're using 0402 SMDs because they fit nicely into those slots of the little plastic pieces that comes with the ship, and they're plenty bright. Doesn't matter the size, they still put out the same lumens for white or green or red. So that's it, guys, and the board you can see goes right there, nice and easy. I just wanted to show you guys that we're just putting up 3 wires to go to the top of the saucer. That's all you need, plus the trip wire for the strobe and the yellow for the static lights, and that's it. Very simple. All right, on this video, we're going to see that it's pretty much done. These are the LEDs. They're 1.8, 1.8. They're the appropriate colors for that side of the ship. This is the red engine, impulse engine, whatever. These are all static on like they were on the actual ship that we saw. And you can see there's a resistor in series with this LED, a resistor in series with that, and another resistor with that. and you know, the minuses go to the tripwire, the yellow, and here's the positive feed that brings the 12 volts up, and here's the strobe with its own current limiting resistor, and you can see we've used a light blocking acrylic type paint. And what I'm going to do is I'm using cardboard, but you guys can use whatever you want. I'm going to cover that up so we don't get any light coming through, and then we're going to block this off too, because there's no lights coming out of those holes. I don't know what they were there for, but there was no light coming out. It just comes out of the bottom part there with little plastic pieces. Well, that's pretty much for this. All right, well, there it is, all done up. Like, the engine part has all been light blocked. Just use cardboard here, and some of this acrylic paint. I retouched the ends here, so we're ready to go on this piece. And we're back. All right, so what I did is for the static red and green navigations, or green and red, whatever they are now, I've forgotten at this point, I ran the wires, plus and minus of these SMDs, to the bottom. So they're right here, running to the positive, and the negative running to its own resistor, to the yellow. Same thing on this side, because there's more room underneath, there's more depth to it. So I wanted to keep it nice and neat. All right, so there it is right here. This is like a clamshell type arrangement. So this is how I wired it. You can see the reds to reds and everything. Now you got to be careful when you put components on the top and the bottom, that when you fold it over, they're not going to short on each other. So I made sure of that by keeping these resistors away from this and away from that. So when we come over here, they won't have an issue with these other resistors, just in case we're a different polarity and you don't want to damage the board. All right, so I'm going to pretty much start closing it up now. All right, well, there's not much left to do, guys. This is the strobe tripwire that's going to go to that side of the resistor, and there's the red wire from the LED that's going to connect to the positive side of the LED strip, because these are all feed-through lines. So they're like a bus, the plus and minus, okay? So that's the easiest way to do it. Should be all done. Okay, and one more piece of information. So the base, what I did is I drilled a hole in the middle so we can get the wires through. This rod is a solid rod. Can't use that one. I happen to have a 1/4 inch stainless steel tube that's just the right size. Okay, so that's it, guys.